Please bear with us. We've got the last couple of sessions, as I say, and it is time now for our penultimate session of the day. We do hope that you're finding them fascinating. Lots of food for thought, lots of information throughout the day, so we do appreciate you bearing with us. Once again, do feel free to get any refreshments at any point. Bring them back here. We don't want you to go anywhere. But now we're going to turn our attention to the evolution of Web3, characterized by decentralized applications, blockchain technology, digital assets, and the dynamic interplay between foundation, innovation labs, and collaborative ecosystem. That is going to be the focus of the next conversation. So I'm delighted to be joined on stage by Khalid Danish, head of MENA at Ava Labs, Azim Khan, co-founder at Morph L2, and to moderate, please put your hands together as we welcome Talal from Halcha at .ai. And without sounding like the singer Meatloaf, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. We're still awaiting 3 of 3. We've got a full house. And with that, over to you, gentlemen. Enjoy this next session, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, my name is Talal Thabit. I'll be your entertainment for the afternoon. And today, we are meeting with some really cool people, right, to talk to us really about Web3 adoption. But I think you're going to find that this is not the usual panel that you're used to, because I'm not going to deal with BS, right? So if you can Google it, it doesn't belong on this panel. I want real opinion, all right? And feel free to swear. It just makes it a little bit more colorful.
I'm from New York. The swear.
Right. Okay. Before we start, you guys need to know who's on the panel. So, Azim, can you just give us 2 sentences about yourself, or 2 minutes about yourself?
Hey everyone, co-founder of Morph, VML2. I'm a consultant to the UNICEF. I'm a venture partner at Foresight Ventures. I am a columnist with CoinDesk and a contributor with Forbes Digital Assets section.
Beautiful. Khalid?
Hi guys. Oops, sorry. It's louder than yours. My name? Sorry guys. Avalab, behind the Avalanche, if you guys know them. Cool, super scalable, highly efficient. Avalanche network.
Hear Khalid speak? You
No.
didn't hear him. Hell, I'm sitting 2 seats away from him.
Is this one better?
Yeah.
Yep.
There
Okay,
you go.
we'll share this one. We'll share this one.
Okay, do you want to do a repeat? Ain't nobody heard about you.
My name's Khalid for Avalanche. Behind the Avalanche Layer 1 protocol. We provide all the infrastructure and tooling and ecosystem support necessary to develop everything we're doing on Avalanche.
In terms of adoption tactics, I know that lots of people on this stage have been talking about adoption tactics and what can we do to increase adoption and whatnot. Now, huge hype Web3. Obviously, we're all the way up here in Ras Al Khaimah, all right, talking about Web3, all right? But it's still, to be honest, if you're going to live in your echo chamber, let me burst your bubble. You're still a niche. Web3 is still a niche, right? Meta even rebranded to embrace that metaverse, but has yet to really deliver on its vision. What's holding back broader adoption? And is Web3 at risk of being a fad, or where are we going?
I don't think so. I think we're finally actually starting to see adoption. I think one of the biggest issues has been that people want to find adoption in Western Europe and North America, where being able to use crypto as a cherry on top more than it is a necessity for people that the technology can actually solve pain points. And so with the acquisition of Bridge from Stripe, people are actually saying like stable coins are the consumer adoption metric that people keep asking for. And I think realistically, the other thing is that crypto people need to stop pretending that we're going to be able to get away from the fact that we need to be able to play nice with regulators worldwide to be able to actually do this the right way.
Hell yeah. I am so pleased you said that.
Yeah, those are some great points, especially around regulation as well. But I think, one of the key issues with mass adoption of Web3 has ultimately been, crypto people building crypto products for crypto services, or crypto services for crypto people. And I think when we obfuscate a lot of the Web3 element away from it is when we start to see mass adoption. We've seen, personally on the Avalanche ecosystem, gaming has been a great conduit, should we say, into Web3 without the gamers, users necessarily knowing they're interacting with digital assets. Now, what's holding us back? Again, we're working, I can speak on behalf of Avalanche. We work with financial institutions, we're working with governments, we're working with enterprise clients. And ultimately, especially when it comes to large mass adoption, when we're looking at financial institutions, regulation is a big issue that unfortunately we're just going to have to work with, and we're going to have to be very creative with, and see how best we can we can come up with new innovative legislation to enable Web3 adoption.
Okay, I disagree with you on that, but we'll discuss that on another panel, or else we're not going to get through through the time. Big brands like Nike, Adidas, they've entered the NFT world. I don't know, some people say mixed results. Some people say you guys failed miserably and fell on your ass. Are we at risk of corporatizing Web3, or is this the evolution that's necessary?
Adidas, massive failure in sneakers. Nike, I would say purchasing Artifact was actually really interesting. They've done some cool things with the kinds of access to sneakers that you have in terms of exclusivity based on certain NFTs that you have. I think that there's a lot more that they can explore there, but the fact that they purchased Artifact years ago at this point really speaks to something larger in terms of 100%. A rollout. They understand consumer better than even Apple, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Candidly, I think we need to corporatize crypto. And so I think that we're not at risk of corporatizing it. We're finally at risk of getting mass adoption by doing so.
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes to what you were saying, Khaled, which is not creating crypto products for crypto people, right?
And ultimately, look, we're going to need some of these big corporates to take that risk, right? If we want to encourage mass adoption, some of these projects are going to fail.
Yeah.
And frankly, the likes of Adidas, Nike, other big brands can afford for that to happen. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm all in favor for it, actually.
Okay. No, good for you. Good for you. We're looking at some Yeezys over here. All right. I'm wearing Travis's. I'm not sure where you got yours from, Khaled. But what I'm saying is, clearly.
These are Air Jordans.
Clearly, what we need is to be able to use Web3 and crypto in things that interest us outside of Web3 and crypto.
Without knowing that we're using crypto.
There you go.
I think that crypto has a 2x issue. One is that we're associated with scammers and fraudsters and hacks and all of these terrible things, which is, I think there's few things in the world literally that have worse PR than the word crypto. My mother, even now, we raised $20 million earlier this year for our company, and she looks at me and she says, Azim, just the word crypto is shady. She's a 70-year-old Pakistani woman. She's just like, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, I work with UNICEF. She's like, it's still shady. And then on top of that,
some people would say UNICEF is shady, but carry on.
That's fair. That's fair. On top of that is the friction that comes with actually using it. I mean, my brother was sent some Arbitrum USDC the other day, and he was on Ethereum mainnet trying to use it on his MetaMask wallet, not understanding because he's new to crypto. He was like, they said they sent the money. I don't see the money. I added the token to my MetaMask wallet. Where is it?
Wow.
And I had to walk him through understanding that within the same wallet, there are different networks. And then when you add the network, you have to add the token to make it visible within the wallet. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense for people.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so JP Morgan exploring blockchain through Onyx and other projects. Can decentralized innovations thrive alongside centralized financial institutions? Or are we heading for a collision course, considering also that JP Morgan's CEO is a DJ? That's Goldman Sachs, I'm sorry. All right, yeah, same street, but
either
you're
or.
right.
Look, I mean, we've worked with JP Morgan. We've worked with the likes of Citi, Apollo Asset Management, Wisdom Tree, and others. I think the big concern for them is, of course, compliance, KYC, AML, which is why what we did to solve that issue was, through our system architecture, is offer them layer ones with KYC, AML baked in at the chain layer, right? Whereby they can deploy their own chain with permissioned validator sets and obviously private participants within their chain. Now, it's imperative that we do things like that to get them to experiment, again, on tokenizing private market funds, on traditional products. With the DeFi world, obviously what we see, again, with our community is a ton of innovation coming from DeFi specifically that, of course, the financial institutions or TradFi space is interested in. And bridging those two worlds can only happen once you have kind of the architecture to open it up to each. So that's why with what we've built, having that kind of private permissioned wall garden, experimentation, sandbox feel gives these institutions, I guess, comfort that eventually, once you open it up to the DeFi world, there is a path to adopting some of these kind of innovative financial products that we only see in crypto, traditionally we wouldn't see in the traditional world of finance.
I think it just comes down to there's going to be different solutions for different problems, and the things that JP Morgan's looking to do, perhaps having their own centralized blockchain will be their solution. Better software is not always the better thing. I mean, when you look at any hospital in the world, I think most of them still run on Windows 95. And so it's not like, even if decentralized software has a list of reasons to be better, that it actually matters, because for the use cases that is needed for someone like Onyx and JP Morgan, they're going to continue to go with sort of what's working for them.
Are you familiar with a term called technical debt?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that just for people that don't know what technical debt is, it's the bullshit technology you currently have, right? AI is going to come in, and Web3 is going to come in, and you're going to think, how in God's name am I going to have my legacy tech connect with my new stuff?
It's the difference between the bullshit you have and the thing you need.
Exactly.
That's the debt. Yeah.
Right. So that's technical debt. How will technical debt slow down adoption?
Honestly, I think even before we get to the technical debt situation, it's going to be getting past the gatekeepers who don't want it solved, because
that is exactly my point.
That's the thing, is that, like, for them, for the most part, they keep their Windows 95 solutions because they don't care that something else could be better, because they're thinking about the headaches that would happen in the process of switching over to new technology, and the potential mishaps that could take place that then under their manager they have to see as mistakes, whereas keeping what's there, they'll just leave those mistakes for the next guy once they retire.
Yeah, and some banking institutions, their tech is so old and cannot actually connect to new tech that they're starting a new bank with new tech, while they then see how that works before they move their customers over.
100%, and coming from that space, I can absolutely attest to it, that it is, for lack of a better word, dog shit, but it's not great. What I would say is, though, some players have carved out a niche for themselves where they're a middle layer or middleware layer that speaks to, you know, the likes of us as a chain and can integrate with those systems. But I would say this, in this part of the world, we're really privileged to have national visions and strategies that push adoption of technology across industry, including financial services. So I think I agree, this technical debt is a massive issue to overcome. But when there's a direction and a clear path to innovation that's set almost by the government and by a national strategy, it becomes a lot easier to bear that debt.
One of the things that I've been seeing actually that at least the larger banks have been doing to get around this is that because of the technical debt, but also the additional red tapes that come with trying to incorporate crypto into your X billion, trillion dollar company, is that they're taking executives that are at the institutions and have been for a while. They take the idea that they're looking to do like tokenizing bonds. They go have that person start a separate company. They seed the company with the money. They send all of the people over towards them for customers. They make the company successful or are working at it. And then it won't be long before they then acquire that company once the red tapes are gone. And then they'll have an internal team built out that they can have scale whichever said solution it is.
Okay, we got 35 seconds, and I'm going to ask you a 5-minute question. Yuga Labs, right? Controlling much of the NFT market through projects like Bored Apes, and are we seeing decentralized projects becoming centralized under corporate control? And if so, how can the Web3 community resist that trend?
I've written about this extensively because I've spent a lot of time in DAOs. There is no decentralization.
Thank you.
Is decentralization theater.
Are you guys taking notes? This is gold dust.
Yeah, it's decentralization theater at best. Even when there are delegations that are handed out to people, whether in the form of tokens or NFTs, there is usually a whale sitting at the top who is deciding the people that those are being distributed to. And unless you are voting in the ways that the person who has delegated that to you, you will end up losing that delegation. And in my opinion, in many ways, decentralization is more of a threat to the way things should be, because we're in a position where, at least right now, you mentioned JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs before, I can very easily understand what their org chart is by going on Google for 15 minutes. But with decentralization, we end up having shadowy hierarchies instead of clear hierarchies. And so, despite being someone who spent a lot of time in DAOs, I've been very critical of the fact that the decentralization is just something we say as a fun buzzword, but when you really get down to it, it doesn't exist.
I've always said decentralization works just as well as the ideology we call democracy. Do you want to respond to that?
I forgot the question. What was the original question? Around decentralization and?
Well, decentralization in terms of, are we going to end up with Web3 going through the same as NFTs?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think in a way, but ultimately, again, coming back to really when you look at the core architecture of what's been built and how decentralized, for example, a chain is or a DAO is, who are the ultimate beneficiaries and controllers of and where those decisions being made, it really comes down to the tech. And from our side, again, from a Nakamoto coefficient, we pride ourselves on being second, if not the most decentralized network in the world.
Cool. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Does anybody have a specific question they want to ask? No, I can go home. Thank you so much, Azim. Please thank Khaled for us too. And stay where you are. I want a selfie.
I like it. Our first selfie of the day from the stage. Why did no one else think of that earlier? Thumbs up, yes.